When a human being is suddenly discarded by the person they trust most, the brain registers emotional betrayal in the exact same sensory pathways as physical violence. For Sarah, the sudden slam of the front door did not just end her marriage. It triggered an immediate, catastrophic surge of stress hormones that paralyzed her nervous system. Holding her shivering 2-year-old son, Leo, on the freezing pavement, her body entered a state of acute hyperarousal, fighting to keep them both warm and alive. The sudden loss of shelter instantly activates the sympathetic nervous system, causing blood vessels to constrict and forcing the heart to pump at an exhausting pace. In these freezing conditions, the body prioritizes core temperature, leaving the extremities numb and sending signals of sheer panic directly to the emotional centers of the brain. Sarah had no money, no car keys, and nowhere to go, leaving her mind trapped in a terrifying loop of survival calculations. For a toddler like Leo, a mother's physiological panic is highly contagious, immediately elevating his own stress markers and disrupting his delicate developmental harmony. Without immediate intervention, this prolonged state of high-intensity survival stress can cause lasting damage to both physical health and psychological stability. As the first cold hours passed, Sarah's body began to exhaust its glycogen stores, leading to profound physical fatigue and mental fog. Prolonged exposure to cold and fear triggers systemic inflammation, as the immune system prepares the body for potential physical injury. For young Leo, the cold air began to irritate his sensitive airways, causing a shallow, raspy cough that amplified his mother's deep-seated desperation. The psychological weight of being abandoned by a protector creates a profound cognitive dissonance, shattering the victim's core assumptions of safety. Every minute spent on the freezing street corner was draining Sarah's cognitive reserves, making basic decision-making feel like an insurmountable mountain. The human brain is not wired to handle sudden, absolute isolation. We are social creatures whose survival depends on community connection. As dawn began to break, the physical toll of the sleepless, freezing night showed clearly on Sarah's pale, drawn face. Just when her physical and emotional reserves were completely depleted, a beacon of hope appeared in the form of an unexpected stranger. A local man named David, driving home from an early morning church service, pulled over when he saw the shivering mother and child. David, a devout Christian known for his quiet acts of charity, immediately recognized the physical signs of extreme hypothermia and shock. The moment David wrapped his warm, dry coat around Sarah's shoulders, her nervous system received its first signal of safety in over 12 hours. This simple act of human warmth instantly triggered a release of oxytocin, the hormone responsible for bonding, trust, and down-regulating stress. David ushered them into his warm car, where the heater began to slowly reverse the dangerous drop in Sarah and Leo's core body temperatures. As physical warmth returned, Sarah's racing heart began to slow, transitioning her body from fight or flight back to a state of rest. David did not just offer temporary shelter, he bought them a hot meal, restoring their depleted blood glucose and reviving their physical strength. With their immediate physical needs met, David listened to Sarah's story, offering the deep, non-judgmental validation that psychological healing requires. David introduced Sarah to his church community, a supportive network that immediately wrapped her in a protective blanket of social safety. For Sarah, finding a community that expected nothing in return was a powerful antidote to the toxic betrayal she had experienced. Over the next few weeks, as she attended services, Sarah felt a growing desire to mark her survival and transformation with a spiritual rebirth. Water baptism is a profound ritual that psychologically acts as a powerful clean slate, helping the brain compartmentalize and release past trauma. As Sarah was gently lowered into the warm water, her body experienced a profound parasympathetic surge, deeply calming her overactive nervous system. Emerging from the water, she felt an overwhelming sense of physical and spiritual lightness, as if the heavy burden of her past had been washed away. This ritual of rebirth marked the official end of her survival mode, signaling to her brain that she was finally safe to begin rebuilding her life. The church community celebrated her baptism, cementing her place within a tribe of protectors who were ready to support her next steps. Following her baptism, David and the church community revealed a series of life-changing gifts designed to secure her long-term physical and mental health. First, they presented her with a brand new, safe family car. removing the physical barrier of isolation and giving her the freedom of mobility. A reliable vehicle drastically reduces chronic maternal stress, turning stressful daily logistics into safe, predictable journeys. But the greatest gift was yet to come, a beautiful, fully furnished home of her own, completely paid for by the community's generosity. A stable home environment is the absolute foundation of human health, allowing the nervous system to fully down-regulate and heal. For the first time in her life, Sarah had a space where she could lock the door and know with absolute certainty that she and her son were safe. With stable housing secured, Sarah's sleep architecture restored itself, allowing her brain to enter the deep REM cycles essential for processing trauma. Leo also thrived, as a predictable environment and a calm mother allowed his developing brain to shift from survival mode back to play and learning. The physical and emotional transformation of both mother and child in their new sanctuary was nothing short of a medical miracle. To ensure her lifelong independence, David and the church sponsored Sarah's return to school to pursue her dream career in nursing. Engaging in higher education stimulates neuroplasticity, building new pathways in the brain that help overwrite the memories of past helplessness. By focusing on a bright, purposeful future, Sarah shifted her brain's default mode network from rumination to active goal achievement. Her study sessions were no longer fueled by survival panic, but by a healthy, dopamine-driven desire to provide a beautiful life for her son. This shift from chronic helplessness to self-efficacy is the ultimate milestone in trauma recovery, signaling complete physiological healing. 2 years after being cast out into the freezing night, Sarah stood tall, a healthy, confident woman on the verge of graduating at the top of her class. Leo, now a happy and healthy 4-year-old, showed no signs of the early childhood trauma that had once threatened his development. The toxic stress that once threatened to destroy their lives had been completely neutralized by the biological medicine of safety and community. Their journey proves that while betrayal can shatter the human body, unconditional love and safe community have the biological power to completely rebuild it.
Today is the day of your miracle. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and also don't forget to comment on the video.